So we moved to FP3 in Mexico. The FP3 will start showing us the reality of how the qualifying and the race will be. But from yesterday, the submission of McLaren was not taken because the FIA looked at it and they rejected it. The 5-second penalty in which Lando Norris was given because the McLaren team believe they have an evidence to prove that the 5 seconds should be retracted, but I think it has been only Red Bull that has submitted the petition and the petition had worked. Every other team, I think it has not worked for them. I think Red Bull has submitted on that it has worked for them. I'm not against Red Bull, sorry. I'm just saying that, but I knew it would not work because you cannot beat FIA. They tell you they've looked at all the instances and they know what they are saying. And this seems too bad because these guys are paying to submit this petition or this evidence in which they have. If you know you are not going to honor it or you are going to scrub it or tell them it is not worth it, why allow them pay and submit? McLaren just wasted money and still nothing is reversed. But it's painful, certainly. But during the FP3, it looks very certain that the McLaren are still on top. The McLaren looks very perfect on all corners, the low speed, the high speed. Even with the track evolution, the McLaren looks good for the pole position and for the race. The upgrades they brought are working and the upgrades look very informed, which means certainly the game is decided already because they look perfect. Yes, in Texas, they're very, very fast in the qualifying, but in the race, the Ferrari came badging. The Ferrari looks strong, especially wherever the car is placed, car is balanced. Will they be able to transmit into speed in the race? We don't know yet, but this race is between Ferrari and McLaren. And the only way McLaren can win is Lando Norris winning the race. And anybody that will spoil the party should spoil the party so well that Red Bull should either end the race without points, or possibly if Max Verstappen can come in 10th or 9th in the next 2 races, then the championship still looks open. But if that is not happening, there is no way Max Verstappen will not come in with a good 4th or 5th position, and if he can keep that up till the end of the season, he has won the championship. He does not need to win races to win the championship. He just needs to stay between 5th and 6th in every race, and he has won the championship. That's all he needs. The McLaren needs to do a good job this weekend to make sure they are able to win this championship. But the Red Bull have always had engine issues. I'm not sure. I will check if Max Verstappen's engine has been changed. We're getting penalties. It looks as if they just worked on the leakage in the turbocharger. If that is worked out, then it shows that the car will perform very well. If that car performs very well, the positions are still good. 5th or 4th is good for Red Bull all through the end of the season. Still looks like Red Bull will still change 1 or 2 engines before the end of the season. But changing engine, I'm not sure. The Mercedes engine, McLaren needs to be changed. And if they need to change, they can do 1 more. And I'm not sure they're going to get penalty for it. But the McLaren are looking strong. The only thing they need, like I said, is the Red Bull finishing 1 or 2 races DNF or 10th position in 2 races. And they're getting fastest points. They are going to be in good mood for a fight to the end of the season. Now, which car is also doing better? The V cab is looking strong. Charlie Tsunoda is driving the heck out of the car since he'll be testing the RV in Abu Dhabi. He's been driving violently and greatly, and it looks so strong on pace. So it looks as if Tsunoda will do a very, very good job in both qualifying and in the race. The Haas is not giving it any doubt. Since they upgraded last week, the Haas has been very, very strong. They are looking as if they'll be getting some good points this weekend, and they can keep up this good point trajectory. Wow, it's going to be a very, very good one for them. Also, the Williams are not looking bad, and also Bottas in the Sauber is not looking bad. Maybe he's trying to get a seat for Sauber next season, but I think Sauber are talking to Colapinto or somebody. But there are rumors that Red Bull wants Colapinto in the V cab next season. Let's see how that works out for them. But the Alpine are not looking strong on pace. With what I can see, they are really far behind. Even with the 2 upgrades they brought in Texas, they are not looking up to pace at all. They're still looking far behind. But let's see what happens in the next few races. But onto the qualifying, I'll give you more loads of updates on what is happening, and we'll get some pole. But the pole is for the McLaren, and the Ferrari will be behind them. But it looks Mercedes are strong on pace. The Mercedes might be behind the Ferrari. But if Red Bull can come up with magic, can come up behind them. But the race pace, I think, is still McLaren, Ferrari, Mercedes, then Red Bull. But anything can happen on turn 1. The slipstream benefit is there. And Lando Norris' benefit is still there because he always makes mistakes, most times starting pole position. But will he make the same mistake if he starts pole position tomorrow? We don't know yet, but he's going to give it a good race because they are up for the championship. Let's see what happens in qualifying. Yeah, bye. What for qualifying? Like I said earlier, the battle is between the McLaren and the Ferrari. But unfortunately, Ferrari got the pole position, and the McLaren, whatever happens to the tires or happens to the track, really pushed the McLaren off the pace, with Piastri going out in Q1 Q1. Sergio Perez in his home race going out in Q1. What a disappointment for both of them. They'll be starting behind the slow runners. It was a great qualifying. In Q2, we had a red flag caused by Yuki Tsunoda as he was pushing through the field to make sure he get a good qualifying lap. He crashed into the wall, brought out a red flag that also took out his teammate Liam Lawson from qualifying. Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso were out in Q2. Valtteri Bottas out of qualifying in Mexico Q2 for the first time in few years. Because he has always made Q3 in Mexico, but he was out in Q2 this time, which shows the battle is tough. Something to enjoy. Great racing, great qualifying it was. And certainly the battle for the pole. Max Verstappen, first lap deleted, took new tires and set another astonishing lap that could only put him P2 behind Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz did a great job, set up a brilliant lap, a wonderful lap, right into the 1 minute 15, massive. He took all the turns, used all the usable on the track to get the maximum track time to pick up Q1. His teammate Charles Leclerc made some few mistakes. He could have been P1 like his teammate Carlos Sainz did, but made some mistakes and he lost about 3/10 to his teammate. That put him P4. Lando Norris set up a good time but was not good enough. P3 was good enough for him. George Russell out-qualifying his teammate again, 16-4 this season, to take P5 and Lewis Hamilton P6. The rest of the field garnered by Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly, and the two As. What a qualifying. Nico Hülkenberg coming 10th, Magnussen in 7th. But great qualifying for all those teams. And I expect great racing tomorrow because it's going to be bananas. These 4 guys started in Austin last week. Now, these same 4 guys in reverse position are starting again in Mexico. Charles Leclerc started 4th in Monza, took a win. Started 4th in Austin, took a win. Now he's starting 4th in Mexico. These guys need to play overnight so that he won't take a win from them. But certainly it's going to be a very good race. We are going to have the Ferrari holding up pace because in the long run, they had the best tire management, and Lando Norris is coming out. He's going to do all he can. And I think from what I'm looking at, one Red Bull will be out of the race tomorrow. Probably, possibly, Zhou Guanyu going out of the race tomorrow. But the race is for anybody to win. The Ferraris, the Red Bull, the McLaren, and the Mercedes. Up until tomorrow, I love you guys. Bye. Cheers.